All right, y'all. We Move Podcast, episode 6. I am sorry. I am sorry. First off, I want to say shout out to the guys. Shout out to JG. Shout out to Jay Witt. Shout out to my guy IJ, man. Ian Jones. We have been on Cap Pod. We have been on Cap. We have not been consistent. The one thing in your life, whatever you do, you got to be consistent. We haven't been consistent. We've been off the past couple of weeks. I want to shout out to my baby sister, graduated from North Carolina State University, cum laude, 3.5 GPA or higher. I'm really proud of her. She's going to do some amazing things out here in this world, man. We're going to do a little something different this week. Right now, as you guys can see, it's just me, man. It's just me. The guys are not on, unfortunately. We haven't been able to link up. Shout out to my guy, Paul Gervais. He reached out to me. Hopefully we can link up this weekend, get at least 2 or 3 of the guys on the pod, and then we can give you guys some content. You guys deserve it. You guys really deserve it. You guys have been, supporting us. So shout out to everyone who's supporting us. Over 100 followers on IG. So shout out to that on Apple Podcasts. So we're official now, up and rolling. So I'm going to run through some topics this week. We're going to talk about, first of all, I want to say rest in peace to the great Mike Leach, man. If you look at his coaching tree, I mean, it's insane. The air raid offense, one thing for me that always stands out is that Michael Crabtree game-winning catch where he tiptoes on the sideline. Everybody in Lubbock goes crazy, man. He has some, funny guy, some, awesome, legendary interviews. So from the We Move pod, we just want to say rest in peace to the great Mike Leach. Changed college football forever. The spread offense, air it out. If I'm a football coach, that's what we're doing, man. Speed it up. The Oregon offense, the offense that he ran, the air raid going into the SEC, changing the game with that. I'll room for them in that bowl. Hopefully they can get it done. If you guys haven't joined the We Move Pod Bowl, it's just pick them. So, there's still a good bit of bowl games left. Winner gets to be on the pod. Shout out to my guys, Jay Kelly, Paul Gervais tapped in with us, got in on that. So that's been awesome. So shout out. I appreciate all the love and support, and we're about to kick it into gear here. It's go time, holiday season. As you guys know, I work crazy hours. I'm recording this after working some crazy hours. It's -2 degrees in Columbus right now, snowing. Wind has been crazy. If you guys, follow me on social media, you get to see a little bit of that. So thank you guys for all the support. I want to see a rest in peace to Mike Leach. I mean, just listen to this coaching tree that he has. He has Dave Aranda at Baylor, Neil Brown at West Virginia, Sonny Cumbie at La Tech, Sonny Dykes, the National Coach of the Year under his coaching tree, Josh Heupel, Dana Holgerson, Cliff Kingsbury, Lincoln Riley, Ken Wilson out in Nevada. So, that's just amazing. Changed the game. Changed college football forever, man. Rest in peace to the great Mike Leach. I pray all, is going well with your family. Hope they can, find some peace. And I hope this team, Mississippi State, play inspired in a bowl game. You guys, I'm not sure if I picked you. I'm going to have to go back and look when we kind of get into some talks about the bowl season with the guys on the pod. I'm going to have to go back and look and see who you guys got. Who am I kidding? Excuse me, sorry. I can just look that up right here. They play Illinois, so Chase Brown. I don't know if he's opted out or not, but he's a good little player. He's been balling at Illinois, running back, really good running back. So we'll see. But I mean, it's hard. Bowl season is all about the teams who are inspired and the teams who show up to play. Forget the opt outs. Guys do what's best for them. We talked about that a little bit last pod, talking about Jackson Smith and Jigba, but it's just who's going to show up. And those young guys who get an opportunity, it's always fun to see them. So I personally, I love the bowl season. I'm excited for the 12-team college football playoff. It's going to be more exciting. You're going to have 12 teams that, knock on wood, hopefully all those guys can stay healthy. They're going to be at their best. They're going to be rocking out. So I'm excited to see that. I'm really excited to see that. So I just wanted to say rest in peace to the great Mike Leach, man. Next, I'm going to go ahead and talk about MLB free agency. So, wow. MLB, man, it's pretty awesome. They don't have that salary cap over there, so they are dropping the bags left and right. Trey Turner getting multiple years, around $300 million. Carlos Correa, I don't know what happened there. 13 years, $300+ million to go to San Francisco. Then there were the reports that his physical was something was wrong with that. Then all of a sudden, he's a New York Met for 13 years. So those baseball contracts are crazy. The 13-year contracts, these guys are ending it when they're like 40, in their 40s. So it's interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, the Mets look like a scary team. I guess Correa's probably going to move over to third. They're going to move Lindor over to short. I think the interesting with the Trey Turner, and we'll talk about the big fish, the big one, Big Judge. Shout out to Ian and the Yankees. Start spreading the news. But Correa, I guess he's gonna have to move over to third because they paid Lindor a ton of money up there in the Mets. They spent $800 million this offseason, so they're all in. So as baseball season starts to roll up, me and Ian especially will get some pods starting to talk about the upcoming season. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen with that. It should be fun. So the Mets should be a fun team. They kept Diaz. They brought in Correa. They got a couple more relievers, retained a couple relievers. So they spend that bag. Steve Cohen isn't playing up there in New York. It's exciting, see both of those New York teams. They brought in Verlander. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be really exciting. And Philly is an interesting case because they just went to the championship, lost Syndergaard, Grant Gain, Trey Turner. It's going to be interesting to see who they have around them. I don't know if it's going to be Stott. I don't know if it's going to be Segura, Bohm. I don't know what they're going to do with their infield. But, I mean, they're going to be a dangerous team, man. That NL East is loaded. You got the Braves in the division. I mean, you can never count out the Braves. They're the Braves. You got the Mets. You kind of count out the Marlins. Sorry to any Marlins fans. Jazz Chisholm is a really exciting player. Hopefully he can stay healthy this year, play a full 162, kind of get after it. And then you got the Phillies. I mean, the defending NL champs. So that should be a fun one. Bryce Harper, hopefully he can be healthy and get back this season. If not, they still have a lot of power there. JT Realmuto, probably the best catcher in baseball. I mean, I can't really think of, he has all the tools. I can't really think of anybody that compares with him. So spending a big bag over there in the NL. The AL obviously is going to do. The Blue Jays had some huge additions. The Yankees got Judge and Carlos Rodon. Shout out to Carlos Rodon, 919 guy, Holly Springs. I remember looking at Carlos Rodon articles when he was Holly Springs and at NC State. And I have to check in with my dad, but when I was younger, I may have even went to go see him pitch at State. My dad's a Wolfpack alum. My dad and my sister are Wolfpack alums. So Rodon, seeing him get his bag as a lefty to the Yankees pitching rotation. Interesting to see what they'll do with guys like Hicks, Gleyber Torres, Josh Donaldson, guys that, Gleyber, I'm a Gleyber guy, I'm a Gleyber fan of Gleyber Torres' game. I don't understand. New York has a lot of pressure. They want everybody to beat Derek Jeter. It's hard, social media wasn't as huge back then, and I love Derek Jeter. Social media wasn't as huge back then, but the criticism that Gleyber gets, man, he had a bad month, a couple bad months, but he balled. I think he was top 4 in WAR this year. So for second baseman, I don't know if you guys are huge into those metrics, but he was balling, man. He was doing his thing. He was pitching well. I mean, not pitching well. He was hitting well. He had a good season. He's a solid second baseman. DJ LeMay, he was going to have to get surgery, so it's going to be interesting to see what goes on there. As I drop my phone, what goes on there with the Yankees and the AL, obviously the Astros are the Astros. Pena, those guys are back. They made a couple additions, retained some guys. They lost Verlander, but in the Astros, they'll bring up some guy that we don't really know much about, may not be a top prospect, and he's going to just deal up there on the mound. So the AL is always interesting. You got the Rays, the fighting Rays, my Rays. They're always, you can never count them out. Hopefully Tyler Glasnow can, get back healthy and form. Shane McClanahan, doing his thing. Obviously, unfortunately, Shane Baz, I'm a real big fan of his, not being, healthy, got injured last year. So hopefully he can get healthy soon. You can never count out Kevin Cash and what he does. Even though I can't stand that he won't let his starters go deep, but that's another topic for another day, So MLB free agency has been really fun. You saw the Cubs, snag Dansby Swanson. Excited to see what he does there. It's like Cubs, one of those mainstay teams, Wrigley Field, man. You see how they sell out even when they didn't have a great team last year. It's going to be interesting to see how they can do. It's good to see. Hopefully they can be relevant. Teams like the Cubs, the Lakers, the Knicks. The Knicks are hot right now. We'll talk about them a little later. The Knicks are hot, so it's good to see teams like that be good. The Cowboys, got to throw them in there, but it's good to see teams like that be good and relevant because talk shows and everyone, big market teams doing well. So it's nice to see that. Hopefully they can get back to relevancy. And we can see what goes on. The season's coming up. I mean, we're in December. We're on the back end of December. Merry early Christmas to everyone. Happy Hanukkah. Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate during these times. Happy holidays. So hopefully everybody's getting some good family time, traveling safe. Hopefully everyone, say a prayer for me. Think about me. I got a flight later. Hopefully I can make it out of Columbus in this weather. But yeah, it should be exciting. It should be exciting. I put out. I wanted to talk about. I love that you guys always interact with the polls that we put out, and I just wanted to talk about the Grizzlies, man. The Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant. Shout out to Ja, new Nike shoe coming out here soon. It's exciting to see what he's gonna do with that. I mean, he is a special talent. Desmond Bane, they've been banged up here and there. Obviously, Ja has been hurt a few times. But I asked you guys if they're pretenders or contenders at the night after they beat the Milwaukee Bucks by 41 points. Or 41 points. Like, that is not normal. I know some nights, back-to-back NBA 82 game season, but like to beat somebody by 42 points, that is not normal. That is not normal. They don't have any fear. Grizz next gen, grit and grind. The city is behind them. Josh seems to love it there. He's balling out. He's having a good season. Early MVP candidate. Let's see who. The NBA is really loaded, man. It's NBA candidates left and right. So it's going to be exciting to see what they can do. I mean, the West is loaded. The West is absolutely loaded, man. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on there. They're tied for first right now, 19-11. It's actually crazy. Their first place team in the West is 19-11. You got Denver at 19-11. You got Memphis at 19-11. And then you got the sixth place team that's barely out of the play-in. They're a half game up from being in the play-in. The Sacramento Kings are 17-13, 2 games back from first. Like, that's the parity in the West right now. But to get back to the Grizzlies, I asked you guys if they were pretenders or contenders. 77% said contenders, 23% said pretenders. It's interesting. We'll see. Last year they had a little playoff run. They made some noise. Beating Minnesota. Pat Bev, hopping up on the stanchion. Throwing his what is he throwing? His jersey in the crowd, waving the towels, man, celebrating like he won a championship. So that was interesting. And then they bowed out in that next round. The West is no joke, man. It's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, so it's interesting to see what goes on as the season rolls forward. I'll ask the guys about their MVP guys. I think the short list. You got Ja, you got Yoke, you got Zion balling out. Devin Booker's been having a really good season. In the East, you got Giannis. Then you got Tatum or Brown. Pick your poison. Guys know that I feel like they're the best team in the NBA and the best team in the East. Sitting a half game out behind Milwaukee. Giannis, Middleton, Drew Holiday. When they're all healthy, they're a tough out. And don't look now, but the Brooklyn Nets are right there. So you got to have KD and Kyrie in those conversations. And then you got to have, Cleveland's fighting, man. Cleveland's a really good team. Philly's a dangerous team. So, all these teams are fighting, finding their strides. It's interesting. The playoffs should be fun. The playoffs should be really fun. A lot of potential matchups. We aren't going to be one of those guys to talk about the Lakers a ton there, down there. Good little they're just two and a half games out of the play-in. So, I mean, they can make a move there. The West is loaded, but, Anthony Davis, unfortunately, injured again. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of goes on there in that dynamic. It should be fun playoffs. I know when people used to, and people used to kill me because they used to always say, hey, like, when the East is so weak when LeBron was there, and then when, the Lakers won in 2020, well, the West ain't that great. Like, come on, guys. Like, this is the NBA. They're playing high, elite basketball. We'll talk about in a future pod, like, how you feel that the game is going of basketball. And in my opinion, I think the game's only getting better. These young kids are training from early age. They're getting after it on the Vertimax. Guys in 5th, 4th grade dunking. I know y'all saw the picture of the kid that was like, in 6th grade or something, 5th grade, with like a mustache that won like the I guess Pop Warner or whatever, whatever youth football travel leagues there are, the national championship, and just seeing him, and like these kids are only getting bigger, faster, stronger. IQ's getting higher because they're learning at a younger age. So it's going to be really exciting, man. I love watching the game. I love watching basketball. I love watching football. So baseball, hockey, you guys hear me talk about it all. So it should be really interesting to see what goes on this season in the NBA. Obviously, shout out to my guy Jay Kelly. Can't forget his guy Embiid. Embiid's a problem down there. He's always in the MVP talks. So we'll see as the season progresses. We'll talk more about it, and we'll kind of see where we go from there. Next, obviously I wish Ian was on the pod, but I just have to shout out Bres, all the guys at MSU, all those Detroit Lions fans. Lions are surging, 7-7. Right here on the edge of glory. Right here on the edge of glory. So the playoffs are right there in the taking. They got the Panthers on Saturday. The Panthers are fighting for their playoff life too. So we'll talk about the rest of the league, but just the Jets, man, a tough loss, a tough loss, 19-3. Zach Wilson getting pulled again, man. I just don't know. Like, he has some talent, man, but I don't know at quarterback that internal, that mental makeup, and that where your heart is, man. That weighs on the locker room. I don't know him personally, so I'm not gonna, make any speculation. But Salah pulling him, he was 9 for 18 tonight, 92 yards. The Jags rolling, Trevor Lawrence rolling. We'll talk about what they did to my Cowboys in a bit. But just the state of the Jets, I will ask Ian about it, man, but they're trending downward, man. They are trending downward, just falling to 7-8. Got the Seahawks and the Jets, Seahawks and the Dolphins, sorry. Seahawks and the Dolphins to finish the season. So they got to go on the road to Seattle, and they got to go on the road to Miami. So it's going to be tough for them to get in the playoffs. We'll see. They've been standing there all year. They've been in the green all year. They've been in right around there fighting for their playoff lives all year. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on there. Falling out of it, got to get some help. But, they have Miami. So Miami loses this weekend, which, is always a possibility with Aaron Rodgers. They lose this weekend, then it could be the Jets could get back in, but I don't know if they have to get Mike White healthy. I don't know if Zach Wilson is gonna have to take that next step like fast. We'll see, and we'll ask Ian about it. But I couldn't. Shout out to the Lions. They got that big win. They went to MetLife. Got the win after Ian on the last pod was saying, it's gonna be one of those days for the Lions. They're not gonna get it done. Talking a lot of trash to this guy. Shout out to, Bres again. But the Lions got it done, and they're surging. They are surging. They're 7-7. Panthers this week, Bears, Packers. So all winnable games. They can win out, play themselves in the playoffs at 10-7. So it should be a fun few weeks of the NFL. And we should see what's going on. So it'll be fun times, interesting times. It's the time of the year. Stuff starts to heat up. The NBA, you start to see which teams are real and which teams are not here soon in the next 10 to 20 games. And then the NFL playoffs are starting to roll. MLB free agency, it's the time now. It's the money-making time. Spring training is right around the corner. So NHL starting to heat up. Golf's back. See, I got the TW hat on. Shout out to my guy Tiger, one of the greatest athletes ever. His son looked unreal. Looks like he could be really special. So we'll see what's going on. It's interesting. It's gonna be a fun time. It's a fun time of life. I love sports, and playoffs are right around the corner. So it's exciting to see what the Buckeyes can do. Now you hear that sigh because we're about to talk about my Dallas Cowboys. My Dallas Cowboys last week were up 27-17 in the fourth quarter against the Jacksonville Jaguars. 27-17. Ended up losing the game 30-40. And I know every year, right, you hear the Cowboys do Cowboys things, right? And there is like a fundamental problem with our culture and our team, and I don't think it can be fixed. I'm just going to be honest. And Jerry Jones, like, he's, the photo was out about him. That was almost 60 years ago. Still not entirely right. So I don't really know what you were doing there, even as a young kid. But hopefully, 60 years of growth, and hopefully he's moved past all that. But when Jerry Jones, he talks like he's a coach. He's in the coaches' meetings. Like, I'm not sure any other NFL owner is doing that. He's like giving out injury reports. He's talking a big game. He's talking about this Odell Beckham situation, who probably won't not, let's be honest here, probably won't play this year. He's talking about that, causing distraction for the team, putting a target on the team. I mean, it's already Dallas Cowboys. Our fans, including myself, we can always talk and we always believe, right? But this team is 10-3, right? Like, so it's like, why wouldn't you believe in a team that's 10-3? Why wouldn't you a team that went up to Minnesota and absolutely dogged them? But then here's our struggle is you lose to a team like Jacksonville. You're up 10 in the fourth quarter. Dak Prescott throws an insane interception. He has to be better this year. He hasn't been good all year. I mean, let me not say that. Let me not be that guy who says he hasn't been good all year. But I mean, he's throwing an interception in almost every game. I think he has like the lead in interceptions, and he's missed like 4 or 5 games. Like he's been inconsistent. So he has to ramp up in the form and be consistent. And I don't know if this is a good thing. Maybe he's cold right now. He'll get hot in the playoffs. The Eagles are coming to town, missing Hurts. We'll speak about them next. But I mean, the culture, like these guys, Michael Parsons talking about the Eagles, bro, we're playing the Jags this week. Like, the problem is every single Dallas Cowboy player since our last Super Bowl thinks that they're like Troy and Emmett and Michael Irvin and all these guys in prime time that won championships, bro. We haven't won anything. We've won divisions, awesome. Especially in a division like, you got these big markets where they seem to talk a lot. The Philly fans, they talk a lot. The Giants fans, they talk a lot. And then Washington, obviously, like arch rivals, they talk a lot as well. So, like, it's a lot of teams, and obviously the Cowboys, everyone in the division, their fans are pretty outgoing and speak their minds. So, it's just, they feel like they're this dynasty. We haven't even, in my lifetime, I was born in 1998, the Dallas Cowboys have not made it to the NFC Championship game. In my lifetime, I haven't even seen it. Every year, and I won't lie, every year I'm one of the guys who were like, hey, this could be the year. I mean, you look at my Instagram, I tagged the Arizona Super Bowl. Like, that's where it's going to be, in Glendale. And it's just like, because the talent is there. I mean, this team, if you look at this team has everything. Everything. We even have a punter. We have kickers. Like, shout out to, he's kicking for, Big John, Jay Witt's fantasy team, Big Baller. So it's like, we have a kick returner. This is a Pro Bowl. Like, this team has everything. Young star defensive players, young star offensive players. A quarterback is making upwards of 120 plus million. Like, this team should not be falling short every year. And every year they do. It's unreal. I don't think there's a team, and like Yankees fans are hard on their team. Philadelphia fans are hard on their team, but they've seen the Super Bowl in their life. And if you're born in 98, you've seen the Super Bowl. Like, you see the Phillies make it to the World Series. I think they won one in 08. I know they lost to the Yankees, but I think they got back and won one. I'm pretty sure Jimmy Rollins and the guys won one. Yeah, they did. I'm pretty sure they beat the Rays. So I just blanked on that, but I'm pretty sure. Like, New York, you've seen 2 Super Bowls. Like, this is crazy, man. This team falls short, and they need to tighten it up. They need to tighten it up fast. I mean, they have Philly this weekend, and Philly is not a joke. Gardner Minshew has a good touchdown to interception ratio. He's throwing for a lot of yards. He's a gunslinger, dog, East Carolina University graduate. Shout out to him. He gets after. And, like, even if Hurts isn't playing, this team is nothing to play with. The D-line is a problem. Even without Jordan Davis, they went and got 2 older guys. Hey, just pull them off the street. We need you guys. Go ahead and clog up in the middle. They got backers who are solid. They got 3 fantastic DBs. Their running game is very good. Miles Sanders, very good. Very, very good. Receivers, A.J. Brown is a problem. Last thing I want to see is A.J. Brown in Dallas spanking the goalpost with his towel. That's the last thing I want to see. But it could very well happen. And knowing the Cowboys, they could come out and blast the Eagles. After having a letdown last week, they'll blast the Eagles. But this isn't even about this. This is about the playoffs. You have to focus and lock in. Like, right now, if the playoffs started today, we'd be going to Tampa Bay. There is no reason in the world the Cowboys shouldn't be in Tampa Bay this year. Shout out to Tom Brady, GOAT, fantastic quarterback, 7 rings, get all that. Their team is horrible this year. They lost to the Browns. Shout out to my Ohio people. But they lost to the Browns without Deshaun Watson. without Deshaun Watson. We'll talk about them in a little bit when we talk about the playoff picture. But they lost to the Browns. They got smacked by the 49ers with Brock Purdy. And I know that defense is really good, but you at least got to make it close. I mean, that division is horrible. A lot of people talk about a lot of smack to the NFC East about all the years and 8-8 and 9-7 teams winning the division. This could potentially have a division winner that's like 5 to 6 games under 500, or 4 to 3 under 500. Like, come on now. Like, there's no reason we shouldn't lose them. But I mean, Chris Broussard said it great on First Things First. Like, hey, they could lose to potentially 11 guys in this room right now. That's the Cowboys. They could do it. So, like, I mean, you have to at least make it to the NFC Championship. You have to at least make it to the NFC Championship. At least with all this talent, and every year we can say the same thing. But right now, I mean, nothing's moving me. It won't be too many. I mean, they win this week. It wouldn't be a repost for me. It wouldn't be, I wouldn't be talking too much trash. Like, and at the time, everything is about the playoffs now. Like, enough is enough. We've had division championships. Dak's dominated the NFC East. I get it. All right. Now it's time to do it in the playoffs. Like, it's time to put something together. We're on like year 7 of Dak, year 7 of Zeke, 7 or 8 of Zeke. Tony Pollard's here. CeeDee Lamb's like in year 3. Like Dalton Schultz, we have 3 or 4 tight ends. Peyton Henderson, like Jake Ferguson, O-line. Come on. Like, enough is enough with this team. And like, they don't even get me on my body. Like, when they lost, I was in the airport flying home from my sister's graduation, just laughing. Like, this is just so on brand. The last interception went on him. Noah Brown has to catch the ball. But, I mean, he had 2 touchdowns. But you have to catch the ball. I mean, I'm sorry. The ball hits you in your hands, you have to catch it. So, they're playing a behemoth of a team. You keep it. Like, Jalen Hurts, MVP, almost front runner. I mean, 13-1. Like, this team is for real. They don't, like, lose the team they aren't supposed to lose to. No, they lost to Washington, but that's a playoff team here, ladies and gentlemen. I know everybody laughs. The Commanders, they're in last place. Everybody in NFC East is sitting right here in playoff position. So, like, you keep going, oh, they're going to lose. They haven't lost. This team is for real. They have everything. And they have the killer mentality. They could have easily lost last week to the Bears. They're like, no, we're the best team in football right now. We're not losing to you bums. Like, the Cowboys are playing around with the Texans. I understand the Eagles played around with some pretty trash teams. They almost, lost to the Colts. Played around last week. Almost lost to the Texans. That was a weird dogfight. They win it by 12. But, like, what are we doing here? Like, this team is for real. They're coming to Dallas, and they would love nothing more than to come in there with a backup quarterback and get the win. Because they're going to run the ball. So the Cowboys, who've been, light in the backside against the run, it's time to man up. It's time to drop them. It's time to drop them and stop them. So we'll see if they can do it, man. We'll see if they can do it. I mean, I'll talk prediction on the page, on the Instagram page. If you guys don't follow that, go ahead and follow that. We'll try to get the Twitter jumping. I mean, we don't have much following on the Twitter, so I guess IG might be the streaming platform for us. So we'll keep rocking it out on there. But I mean, 4.5-point favorites. That's probably only because Hurts is hurt. And I mean, I like how I think they should win. I mean, there's no reason to lose this game without their starting MVP favorite quarterback. But I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about this team. I do not know what to think about this team. I think they should win this weekend. I mean, I don't know. The Eagles will have to lose out. I mean, Gardner Minshew will have to, lose to the Saints, who the Saints are fighting, and then the Giants are fighting. So, I mean, it's not out the realm of possibility. But, like, you think about that this year, like, oh, they'll drop a game here and there, and the Cowboys can catch up, and they haven't done it. So that speaks a lot. Sirianni standing on the bleachers, in Indianapolis, talking his trash. He has the swagger. He's not afraid of Philly because one thing, if you're playing or coaching in Philly, you can't be afraid. You got to face the music because they'll let you hear. They were booing them at the halftime of the Washington game. So you got to come with it. You have to come with it. This team has to. They should. But you can always say that with Cowboys. They should do a lot of things that they don't do. So it'll be interesting. The Eagles, I mean, they're rolling. They're a train right now. I think it's like their NFC to lose when it comes to the playoffs. Everything runs through. Is it still Lincoln Financial? All these name changes have been going on. Everything runs through there. So we'll see if they can do it. I mean, it's gonna be it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. So I'm excited to see that. Big game coming up, going to catch a little bit of that on Fox, sit down, have some time with my family and enjoy that. So we'll see where we go from there. We will see where we go from there. So last thing, I just want to say in this rap game, we'll switch up the music. And then I'll close it out with a, ode to a legendary athlete. We Move podcast. We talk about everything. We talk about everything. I want to say rest in peace to Big Scarr. If you don't know, he was like, who Shiesty? I think he was his cousin. I think he just overdosed on like Percocets, and I think that's Save the Juice WRLD overdose. Like, come on, y'all. Like these pills and stuff like that. There's no room for that. We don't need to be popping perks, like doing all that stuff, man. Not prescribed for you, bro. Like that could kill you. It can kill you, trick you out your spot, man. Young man, I think he was 21 years old already, gone. His family will miss him. So I just wanted to say rest in peace to Big Scarr, man. Like I said about Mike Leach, pray for your family, your friends, everyone get through these tough times because it can't be easy to lose someone so young, so young and talented in the music game. So that really hurts. That really hurts. Anytime you lose a young one, it hurts. And we shall see. I mean, signing day just passed too. Tie back to bring it back to college football. That was interesting. We'll have some talks in the pod with the guys about that. A lot of interesting things going on with their school. Want to give a shout out to Ian getting back on the winning track against Oakland. They're on the Christmas break, and then they come back, and I think they have one game and then one more non-conference game. Then they get into the Big Ten play. So, good to see them get back in the win column. Going to be excited to see the Big Ten. The Big Ten should be a war. Should be really exciting. And I'm rolling. I love the Buckeye football team. I support the basketball program, but that's my brother, so I'll ride it with him. Yeah, they got Buffalo. They got Nebraska. Michigan. It's time to go. It's go time. It's go time. That's on a Saturday too, so I should be in attendance. So that should be fun. That should be really fun. We're gonna have some more stuff out on the pod. We're gonna get the pod rolling. We haven't been consistent with you guys. And we will be better. We will be better. JG, he's locked in right now. They had two tough ones. Lost one to Houston, lost one to Miami. But I expect them to get back on those. Those are two really good teams, really good programs. Kelvin Sampson is he's a dog. He's a dog. His program's nothing but dogs. Nate Henn, shout out my guy Nate. They get after. They get after it over there. They're nothing to play with. They're nothing to play with. So, they fought hard. They lost that one. They lost to, Miami to a good Miami team, man. John Ruiz, NIL paying off. We'll talk about NIL on the next spot. But his NIL payments are paying off. That team looks really good. So 12-1. It's going to be interesting. It's interesting times. Interesting times. So college basketball, conference season. It's interesting. I'll say, you take those losses now and you never want to lose. Like, I'm the type of player, coach, whatever the case may be, fan. I want my team to win every game. But, you got to go through those struggles. You got to go through those struggles. And in everything, whether it's sports or life, you got to go through struggles to get to the good times. And in March, when it really counts and all that stuff, and you've been through these battles, you might have took them L's and those battle scars, and you just bounce back from it. You bounce back from it. So that was my quick little solo pod. Hopefully it wasn't too long. I just want to give you guys some content, something to listen to, man. We've been on Super Cap. We've been on Super Cap. So it's gonna be real interesting, man. Interesting weekend coming up. I'm gonna ramp up the podcast for you guys, give you guys some more content. Whether it's one of us or whether it's all of us, we appreciate all the love, appreciate all the support, man. We Move Podcast, episode 6, I believe. Sorry for the cap. Sorry for the wait. Shout out Wayne. And thank you guys. I appreciate it. Have a good weekend. Have a safe weekend, man. I know everybody's going to be back home. Be safe around your loved ones. If you, partake in the alcohol, be safe. Be safe with it and enjoy it. If you partake in whatever you partake in, y'all have the holiday football game. Be safe. Don't slip on some ice out here like this ice in Columbus. So hopefully I can make my flight. We Move Podcast, episode 6. Evan Umstead signing off. Thank you guys. Much love.